So, in order for this story to make sense, I have to explain in some detail what my room looks like. So, sorry if I drag on a little bit. It's relevant, I swear. My room is pretty small. I always wanted a bigger room. Either get a bigger room out of the remodel or move, and everybody gets bigger rooms, but you know, it was all my family had, so we never really remodeled my room and we never moved to another place. So I have this tiny little room. It's not so bad. I'm actually okay with it now that I'm a little older, but it has one flaw. Okay, I'm getting there. So the way that my room is set up is you walk in and the first thing you see is my queen size bed. It takes up most of my room. Sometimes my biggest fear is like rolling over in the middle of the night and looking off of the edge of my bed and seeing like this like sickly white face staring at me. You know, that's like my biggest fear. So I'm really glad that I have a big bed because then I can just roll over and like stare at the wall or a stuffed animal or something. Anyways, right next to the head of my bed is my desk where I am right now. And I have the microphone set up and I do all of my work here because it's a small room. It's the only desk that I have. It's a desk. It's a normal desk. There's some books on it, lots of paper, some drawers. And then on the other side of the room, which is directly kind of to my right now, is one of my dressers that has about 6 drawers. And then next to that, along the right side of the room, is an even taller dresser that holds my picture frames and, you know, just junk items, decor, you know, all that stuff. Now, on the fourth side of the room, it's my closet. I always complained about this closet mainly because I wanted a bigger one. I'm pretty big on fashion, and I would dare to say I'm even sort of a fashionista. So, you know, drawers aren't always enough for me, but the closet, I could always use this big old closet. But for now, I have this tinier kind of sliding door closet, and I have ever since I was a kid, I had like this brat's head for, I don't know, like playing with hair or something, and I kept it in my closet and I would leave the door open. And this was an awful mistake because in the middle of the night I would, you know, be facing towards my closet and there would just be this head just staring at me, you know. So I threw that toy away and I've mostly slept with my closet door closed ever since. And it's gotten to the point where even now, as an adult, well into her 20s, I always sleep with my closet door closed. And even when it's daytime, I keep it closed. Unless I am in there for an outfit or an item that I've put away in storage, it's closed. But see, something has been opening my closet. I don't know what it could be. At first I thought I was going like stir crazy or something. I've always been a homebody anyway, but with the quarantine and everything, I actually came down with the Rona a little bit ago, and so have some family members. So I've been quarantining for a little while, let's put it like that. So I don't know if it's just me going stir crazy from not being able to go to work, hang out with friends, even make a trip to the store, you know. But no, I'm not crazy. I'm certain actually that something is opening my closet. And it's not the case where like a family member comes in and like puts something in my closet, takes something out, you know, like no one in my house does that. But even if they did, they wouldn't be able to without me seeing them. I pretty much stay up in my room all day and my door is always closed, if not locked, for when I'm organizing things or trying on different clothes or, you know, just having alone time, etc. So there's no way. But like, it's like I'll be sitting here and I'll be doing my business. I'll be typing, I'll be watching videos, and I won't hear anything. and I turn around, and the closet door is open. Hold on, I have to drink some water. Sorry. Whenever I get overly stressed out, I just take a sip from my water bottle and it makes me feel better. And lately, I feel like that's all I can do. All I have to do is just take a sip. And for some reason, everything is better again. Until it's not. See, I have this crazy idea that... Have you ever seen The Grudge? Like, okay, I know it sounds really stupid, but I'm pretty sure there's like a part where in someone's closet, there's like a door to like an attic or something in the ceiling of that closet, and she like comes in and like comes out of it. Like, there's no such door like that in my closet. There's no other way to get in, but I'm so paranoid at this point that I feel like there's like, I don't know, like a dude, a whole dude, like living in the walls or something. And what if I'm not the only one? What if he's opening my mom's closet? What if he's opening my brother's? And then we all go into our own rooms and we all think that each other opened our closets, something like that. But I think, sorry, no, that's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. See, this is what I do all day ever since I started noticing it happen. I freak myself out. I come to this like impossible conclusion that makes zero sense, and then I get too anxious about it, and then I drink water, and then I feel fine again for like all of 2 seconds. But I was wondering if anybody was maybe experiencing the same thing, like maybe there's something more tangible to it. I live in an old house. You know, old houses creak. Do old houses' closet doors open on their own? Silently? No. I know it sounds like I'm grasping at straws, but something is happening. And it really freaks me out. It's not like I can call the police. Hello, 911. My closet door keeps opening by itself and I don't know why. All my friends think that this is like a cry for attention, but what do they know? But it is... I can't express to you how eerie it feels in my own room now, in my own space. I'm facing the opposite side of the room right now, looking at my laptop, talking into the microphone, with my water bottle in reach. And if I turn around, there's a big possibility that the closet door that I never opened is open. And that I won't see wall, but I'll see all of my clothes. Okay, it was closed that time, but just watch. Just give it a minute. I'll have been right here. And it'll be open. And is this... Am I really going crazy? Or is something supernatural happening? No, that sounds stupid too. That sounds... I started noticing it maybe a week ago. I started noticing it like a week ago. And the first time I was like, huh, that's weird. I don't remember opening that. And then it happened again and I was like, I could have sworn I closed that. And then later the same day, I was digging through my closet, trying some things on and putting some things back. But I closed it, and I specifically remember closing it because I had accidentally hurt my toe in the process. So I'm pretty sure I closed it and didn't open it since. But the day after that, I wake up, and it's open. I asked my mom if she'd been in there. Maybe she was putting something away in the laundry that I had forgotten or something. But she said no. She says she never goes in my closet, that if there's an article of clothing I'd forgotten, she'd leave it on my bed. So yeah. So this has been happening for God knows how long. But something new happened just yesterday. Yesterday, my family and I all got up, we made breakfast, we even watched a whole movie. We didn't hear anything. We never heard anything. We never even walked in this general direction. But at some point, we all noticed that the front door was also open. Is someone there? Oh, no, wait. I don't mean you any harm. Could you give me some food to eat? I can appreciate your, caution, but I can't really approach you myself. The people outside of this alley don't really like me very much. They're afraid of me because of the way I look. I wouldn't blame you if you were afraid too. Everyone is. You know, I wasn't always like this. There was a time when I too was a young girl, or younger girl, living with my family in the country. I wanted to be an artist, you know. Of course, like any artist or any creative person, my family didn't quite approve. I moved away as soon as I became old enough to take care of myself. I came here for the opportunity. Of course I failed. Of course. My family said I would fail. They never believed I could really go out and do what I wanted to do. I suppose they're right. And now I'm here, starving in the middle of a dark alley that no one will come into, not even to keep me company, not even to spare a penny. And you know what's sad? Is back at home in the country with my family, I wasn't much happier than I am now. I could argue that one good thing about where I am currently is that at least I'm free, not stifled, not forced to become something I'm not judged constantly by them, anyways, from the people that I loved. It's much easier to get judged by a stranger for the way that you look than it is to be judged by your family for the way that you are. I think you know how I feel, since you've stayed and listened. You must be in the same position as me. Well, similar, at least. I hope you don't starve to death on the street all alone. I can't seem to get anybody to care. I know what you're thinking. Why not get a job? Why not move back? Why subject myself to this? Well, the answer is simple. I'd rather do only what I came here to do, or nothing at all. And if I have to be alone because I failed, then so be it. Not many people have come close enough to me. They always think I'm gonna mug them, gonna rob them, kill them, sell organs online. Fools. Everyone's twice my size anyways. Why a grown man would be afraid of a tiny girl barely out of high school, I don't know. All I want is some company and some food. But if I can't get that, well, that's just fine. I'd rather not move back home. You see, if I did, and maybe you know what I'm talking about, I'd get laughed right back out the door. No wide open, welcoming arms, no warm smiles and hot meals, no prodigal son parable. They would just judge me, laugh at me, berate me, force me down a path that I don't want to go down. It's dreadful, really. The people that you loved disowning you just because you're the way you are. You know, I don't have a home and I can't offer you much, but if you'd like to take a seat, you can. I'm just sitting in the shade. The sunshine is too hot today. Of course, tonight it'll be colder and I'll have wished I could have been in the sun longer. But that's all right. I liked the cold better anyway, so who needs the sun, right? I like it when it's dark. That way no one can see how much of a failure I am. I don't know why you're choosing to stay and talk to me. Maybe you're thinking of murdering me. Oh, the irony. You know, a lot of people walk by me, some mothers with their children, and they even go, "Oh, hurry, hurry, hurry past that strange person." And I bet it's because they think that I'd kill them. I'm surprised I haven't been killed yet. Isn't that strange? Hundreds of people walk by me every single day, and I'm still alive. Albeit, most ignore me, perhaps 98, 97%. Some people give me food, money, gift cards. It's not that much, but I've been able to scrap by. You've been awfully quiet. Maybe you're homeless too. Maybe you really are in the same exact position as me. Maybe you're a runaway. Maybe you're stalking someone. Well, whatever the reason, you're welcome to sit over there for as long as you like. It will get dark soon, though, so if you've got to be somewhere or if you have a jacket, I highly suggest it. It can get very cold once the sun goes away. Even colder when you're alone. What's your dream? Why are you here? I could guess, but I get the feeling you won't confirm anything. Are you running from someone? Playing hooky? Why do I bother? You do look a little older than me. Maybe you dropped out of college. Well, it's none of my business. Pardon my nosiness, but do you have any spare change, gift cards, food? Silence again. Could it be that... Do you know what I am? An artist, I mean. Do you know me, perhaps? Fine. Don't talk. Oh my. The sun is going down. I gave you your warning. Now it'll get cold. It's too bad for you. Like I said, I like the cold, so don't assume I'm going to start a hobo fire or anything in a trash can. There's nothing artistic about that. Well, It's just you and me. You haven't told me to shut up, and you haven't mugged me, so I'm not quite sure why you're here, but you've definitely made my day. Do you see that big, broken pane of glass over there? What do you see when you look at it? Do you see yourself? Of course you see yourself. What else do you notice about the reflection? Where are you going? Oh, I'm sorry, no one else is really around this time of night. I've been so hungry for so long, and I know you haven't brought in any of your food to share with me. But the good thing about what I am is I think you'll be just enough. David, Starry Night. Even the scream. I think I'm almost there. My piece, my masterpiece. Every artist has one. Every painter and sculptor. Everyone has one. And after years, decades of struggling to make my standout, substance-filled, perfect masterpiece, I'm almost there. But I just can't tell what's missing. It's here. It's all here. In my studio, with all the paints and tools and... Tell me, what am I missing? I thought that maybe my eye was a bit too trained for seeing what was missing. That's the thing about being an artist. Sometimes you just need the outside perspective. I've been sketching for a very long time. I've been drawing and painting and creating still lives and dioramas and sculpting and doing calligraphy, and I've done all of it from a very, very young age. My parents used to brag to their friends, about me. I was the prodigy. They never really saw me as a person, but part of my character is being an artist, so I guess what else is there to see? People, at the end of the day, aren't really anything past what their labels are. And I know that sounds controversial, but just listen for a moment. You see, I was brought up to be an artist, and I've become an artist. So naturally, my parents loved me because I became what I was meant to be. They bragged to their friends, who bragged to their own children, about what I could do. Of course, my parents loved me. They took me to every class and workshop I ever wanted to go to, took me to every museum. They treated me very kindly. But at the end of the day, that's all I was to them, and frankly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being all that I am. And all of that is an artist. I want to live, breathe, drink art. And no, I'm not just talking about culinary art. This is something a little more spiritual, not quite tangible, not quite fathomable. Maybe you understand, or maybe I'm just talking to a brick wall. Forgive me, I don't really have many guests. But back to the point. I needed you here because I assume you are not an artist. And that's okay. I did not bring you here to belittle you, but I was hoping that your uncultured and ignorant perspective on beauty could help me with my final piece, my masterpiece. I can feel it. It is so close. So please, sit back and look. What is it missing? What does your heart tell you? What does every fiber in your unknowing mind shout at you when you look at this? You see, I figure maybe I should tell you a little bit more about what I want this piece to mean and what all went into the process of it. You see, I'd been doing this for decades. I've never been one for friends or for relationships, and money always comes to a successful artist, so there's not really much to worry about. But the point is that I have been quite on my own for some time now, and I figured that the point of life is that there is no point. Think about that. Let me repeat it. The point of life is that there is no point. Isn't that deep? Isn't that so exhilarating? Now, I know what a lot of other people might say. I once had colleagues who always contradicted me on this sort of thing. People made art based off of intense emotions of heartbreak or love or some uplifting answer to everything in the moment. Well, frankly, I couldn't relate. I couldn't top that until I thought of how something as all-encompassing as there being no point, that would simply be the ultimate. That is the most important thing we can teach ourselves in life. The point being that there is no point. And people are just people. So in a way, if you were to analyze this, you would find that analysis is not necessary, that thinking is not necessary. We all simply are. There's no such thing as law and moral in the grand scheme of things. We don't need any of it, and we all don't need to commit good or evil or anything like that. We just are. And that's it. That's all that we are. There's no point, there's no nothing. Is there something? Is there something that's missing? No. No. It's perfect the way it no. I can't convince myself of that. It's missing something. What is it missing? What is it missing? A name, perhaps? I haven't named it yet. What kind of name could I possibly give something that has no moral or point or meaning? Or I suppose it does have a point. The point is that there is no point, which in and of itself is a point, which contradicts... You know, I'd read this story a long time ago. I didn't quite understand it, but it had to do with a man who, after he'd left this city, he never really appreciated it or understood it until he looked back, after it had been destroyed. I don't know why I'm bringing this up to you. It really didn't make any sense for me. There probably was no point at all to such a story, but... Oh, that's right. a name. A name for my creation. I think I'll name it Carcosa. Yes, Carcosa, that sounds correct. That was the destroyed city that could only be appreciated in hindsight. I suppose in a way you could say it only existed in hindsight. After all, if someone didn't appreciate it back then, did it really exist? I like to think that the man was the only inhabitant of Carcosa. So you could say that Carcosa didn't really exist until he finally acknowledged it when it was too late. I think I'm starting to see what this is missing. You know what my masterpiece is missing? Nothing. It's perfect the way it is. I was silly to think I could fix something anymore. If it's meant to be this way, it's meant to be. And you know, at first I was starting to regret things like chopping off the arms or cutting abrasions in the neck. But I think this will finally get my point across. I do think people will misinterpret the flowers I've stuffed down your throat, but I mean, it's art. It's already as misunderstood as it is. And frankly, I can't be any happier than I am that you have been so willing to come and help me out with your opinions and your modeling and, well, I'm afraid I can't pay you, not like you'll need it, but thank you. Thank you for becoming my masterpiece, Carcosa. So, as you guys know, I'm pretty much into musical theater. And to be honest, there's a lot that you don't know about musical theater. I'm not talking about what it means to breathe diaphragmatically while doing complicated choreography and singing emotional roller coasters and being under all these hot stage lights and all these layered costumes. No. I'm talking about the secret of musical theater. It's the thing that everyone always teases us for. It's the thing people get annoyed at the most. It's why we always break out into song. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a huge joke, just a big excuse to sing all of my favorite theater songs right now, but no. Every time we hear a reference to a musical that we know, we must sing something, anything. Doesn't matter how long or how short, just as long as someone hears it and as long as someone acknowledges that we are singing a reference, even if it's a stretch, even if it doesn't always make sense in certain friend groups. Sometimes life is just pretty unfair that life is random and unfair. Life is pandemonium. That was from the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. I was in that one actually as Marcy Park. Yeah, I wanted Olive, but I got Marcy. But you know, another theater in the summer is gonna do it, so maybe I'll have a shot at that. Anyway, see what I mean? We have to do it. Oh, shoot, that's right. I didn't explain why. Okay, so if we don't, I'm going to make this as short, sweet, to the point as I can. If we don't sing whenever there is a reference that we completely are reminded of a show of, well, we get nodes. We start to lose our ability itself. We start to lose ourselves in a way. I had a friend who got bored with acting. She was never quite on fire like the rest of us, but it was real heartbreaking. She got bored of acting, and first her voice went, and then her acting ability went. She can't even read anymore. I was trying to make it a positive environment for... Keep it positive as you slap her to the floor. Legally Blonde, the musical. But, nothing I did was ever enough. It never changed anything. It was like I didn't even know her anymore. She got into accounting. She went back to college and majored in business. It was... I don't want to be like that. I don't want to lose my creativity or my ability to tell stories. I can't end up like her. It's really sad. I don't think she even remembers who she used to be. I don't think she even wants to remember. That's why we always say that we can't, because we have rehearsal. It fuels us. It reminds us why we do what we do. I would rather be on the stage than any other place in the world. Rehearsal is... Hold on. I love play rehearsal because it's the best, because it is fun. That one's from Be More Chill. I would actually love to be Christine Canegula one day. But anyways, oh, I'm so sorry. This must be really annoying to like talk to me for, but I can't lose myself. I can't lose everything that I have worked so long and so hard to gain. Being made fun of, I can take that. Being doubted or even treated like some stupid, non-academically talented person, I can take all that, but I can't take not being part of that world. Someday I'll be part of your world. Oh man, I love that trill. I don't really want to be Ariel. I would rather be one of her sisters, but I love that trill. It's just so nice to sing. Anyways, sorry. Having said that, it's why you don't see much of us in public so often. And when you do, on those rare, maybe 10% chance interactions, it's why we're so loud and obnoxious. Simply put, we have a role in the world. Everyone does. And us, theater kids, we need to be seen. If we're not seen, we get forgotten about. And if we don't stay relevant, we don't get cast. If we don't get cast, we don't survive, we don't make money. But most importantly, we aren't doing what we were meant to do. 'Cause this is what we're born to do! Bring it on, the musical. It's like if a lawnmower didn't cut grass. If towels didn't dry. If bendy straws didn't bend. It's like that. We were all put on this earth to do something, and if we don't do that, if we don't exercise what we were meant to do. 'Cause in that moment I finally knew what I was born to do. Bring it on again. I said it again, Oive. But my point is, if we don't do it, then we just fade. We don't tell these important stories that need to stay alive. We don't give a voice to the voiceless. We're meaningless. So that's why I have to be loud and obnoxious and break out into song every now and then. And I'm so sorry if that stresses people out, but I don't want to fade. I want to do what I was put on this earth for. I want to give a voice to the voiceless by playing those hard but truthful roles. I want to help everyone who isn't me through colorful analogies of fantastic worlds. wake up every day and face what they have to. And no amount of fear of public speaking or rude people or phantoms. That one is self-explanatory. No amount of oppositions is going to keep me from being an entertainer. And you know what's funny about that is more serious people. Serious! That one's also from Legally Blonde. No amount of those people. All those people who are all into academics and not into, art or music or singing properly, they make fun of us, They just think that we are just here just to entertain and that we shouldn't use our platforms to speak about interesting and relevant topics, that we're just here to be the bard or the jester. But the truth is, media has a lot more influence than you think. After all, you remember cartoon characters. Okay, you remember books. You remember movies. You remember radio dramas. You remember fairy tales. And a lot of people remember songs, especially ones from musicals. So yeah, I'd really like to get a lot of slack here, please. I know that we're annoying, and I know that we're loud, and I know that we hog up all of the space at Denny's at 2 a.m. after showing all of our makeup. But we have a job here. And let's face it, you love sitting in that audience, watching us on stage bend over backwards. For what? To make you smile. To make you laugh. Not all of us do it for fame, Sometimes we act because we like acting. And I'd rather live with this curse than to ever make you go through a dull and boring world. So the next time you see a theater kid like me out in public singing loudly, join in. Maybe even record them with their consent. Sing along. Applaud them. But please, don't ever discourage them. And if you respect us, well, we'll only love you more. If I find you, maybe love me too. I'll only love you more. Death Note, the musical. My grandmother always said that pumpkins were an omen of disaster. I liked pumpkins, though, and she was senile. So, like most grandkids and their well-meaning but heavily misinformed grandparents, I shrugged it off, and when I got my own place, I decided to start my very own pumpkin patch. I'd never been one for spring or pastels or things of the like. I was more of an autumn girl. I loved faded fall colors and oranges and blacks. My favorite days were the rainy or overcast days. I hated the heat and I always loved the cold. Nothing was better than having a pumpkin spice latte, sitting inside wearing a sweater and reading a good book. My pumpkins were doing pretty well. They were almost ripe enough for me to pick them and start carving them, even though it was far from Halloween. I'd carve a couple and then save the rest for some recipes I'd been wanting to try out. Well, that's what I was planning anyway. Until it happened. I woke up one day and looked out the window and saw that my garden had been totally smashed. I thought it had been some prank, that some kids or teenagers or whatever just came in and smashed all of them, not thinking about the consequences, but when I came out, it was something completely different. There was a broom in the pumpkin patch. And standing behind it was a man that looked like he had just come out of the Witcher series on Netflix. He seemed a little frazzled and quickly apologized. I thought he was some weirdo or maybe even a LARPer or something on his way to the D&D convention or whatever. But he quickly apologized and told me that he was a witch. Was Halloween closer than I thought? Or was he just really into character? I forgave him and told him that it was fine, that I could just grow some more. But he felt really bad about it and asked if there was something that he could do. So, humoring him, I jokingly said, okay, well, if you really want to do something about it, why don't you just use your witchcraft or whatever to bring the pumpkins back? Except when I asked that, he did. He started speaking this language I couldn't begin to even fathom, and then, just like that, my pumpkin patch was brand new. I was way confused at this. First of all, this is the real world, but second of all, okay, suppose this is actually real and it's not some intense dream or something. If he always had this power, why didn't he just fix the pumpkins immediately? And why was he just waiting around for me to come out and find him? I voiced this to him. I asked, why didn't you just fix them before I came out? And he said that a witch can't use their powers unless someone asks for something. I did not know that. I noticed that his broom had actually been snapped in half, so I asked if he wanted to come in and tell me more about his profession while I attempted to fix it. He sheepishly agreed and seemed really happy to be invited inside. I gave him some water and coffee and then helped him fix his broom. All the while, he was going on and on and on about witchcraft and magic and his powers, which kind of went on a little too long and I didn't understand the majority of it. He said he was new to it, that he was chosen. I asked him what else he'd used his magic for, and he said that this was the first time, aside from flying on a broom. Granted, he was no ordinary-looking guy. He was actually very tall and very built, so the idea of this huge guy riding on this tiny little broom in the middle of the day was quite hilarious to me. I asked him why I was the first person that he'd ever used magic to help. And then he said something pretty interesting that I haven't really ever heard of in terms of lore with witches. He said that every time a witch uses magic, this thing called the desire gets stronger and stronger. The desire, I said. What does that mean? He told me he didn't know, that he'd been instructed by more seasoned witches out there and warned him not to always use magic, to only use it in the most detrimental of times. I quipped back, and fixing my pumpkin patch was detrimental? And he said, well, yes, of course it was detrimental. He had felt extremely guilty about having been irresponsible enough to break something of someone else's while flying around on his broom. I asked for more specifics as to what this desire was, but he didn't really seem to know either. It's like the seasoned witches had barely told him anything and just let him off to figure it all out on his own. We got to talking, and after a few hours, I had completely forgotten about the pumpkin patch and realized I didn't know his name. Embarrassed, I introduced myself, admitting how late I was, and he responded with his name, and I'll admit, a lot of our interests kinda lined up. Not romantically or anything, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, but he did seem like a really interesting person to hang out with, who I could really talk to about stuff, and even though he was kind of a weirdo, that was forgivable. While I was making something for us for lunch, I had accidentally cut my palm, and he got extremely worried and used his magic to help heal my hand. I jokingly warned him about the desire, and maybe he'd become a vampire, and that's why he couldn't use magic too much, or else he would have just pounded at my hand right then and there. And then he told me that he was actually legitimately very curious about what would happen if he did use too much magic. And I admit it, I was curious too. Once the words left my lips, I saw this intense glimmer in his eyes. He gazed back at me. And he held out his hand and he said, "Would you like to try?" What was he asking? Would I like to try what? Being a witch? I thought about it for a second. He seemed nice, and even though I didn't really understand everything, and I had grown up with this silly superstition that pumpkins are bad omens or whatever, my grandmother had passed away a long time ago. And it was just a superstition, right? If I took this virtual stranger's hand and became like him, would it really be a bad omen? Do you like Disney movies? I do. Did. Okay, where to start? How to explain this? You might think I'm a little crazy, but I figured if I could find someone like-minded, someone who liked the movies and the stories and the fantasy like me, maybe you could understand. So, my name is Sarah, and this all started when I was 15 years old in high school. I went to my locker one day and found a lava lamp in there. I'd always wanted a lava lamp, but I didn't know who had brought it. My friends certainly didn't have enough money to be buying gifts for anybody, and I didn't have any secret admirers or boyfriends that I knew of, so I picked it up, but discovered it was sticky with something. I couldn't identify what it was, and it was disgusting, so I took it to the bathroom to wash it off, and as soon as I rubbed all the disgusting residue off, a genie came out of it. That's right, a genie. Technically, a female genie, which has a completely different spelling. It's spelled as Jeannie. That's a female djinn. I'm a big fan of fairy tales and folklore and historical types of fantastic stories, so I know, it sounds lame, but when that girl genie walked out of the stall, I didn't believe it either. I had the weirdest feeling that something amazing was about to happen. Now, I'm not completely off my rocker. I did think it was very strange because I'm pretty sure when I walked into the bathroom there was no one else in there. And then all of a sudden she just walked out of the stalls and she told me her name was Jeannie, and I had never seen her around the school before, and I had never heard her name around the school before. And it's a pretty small school, like everybody pretty much knows each other. She explained to me that she would grant some wishes of mine. I wasn't really sure what to make of it, and I thought she was joking around. I thought this was a prank at first. A prank on the weird girl who loves Disney and fairy tales too much. But I was having a kind of screw it day, so I decided to humor her, and I asked, "Do I get 3 wishes?" She didn't answer me with an answer. She just asked what it was that I wanted. I decided to make my first wish. Okay, I wish for $1 million. And then she motioned to my cell phone, to my banking app. And I opened it. And there it was. $1 million richer. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Was this some sort of very expensive prank? Was I on a hidden camera TV show or something? What was going on? I asked her what would happen when my parents found out, and she said that was all taken care of, that they would just acknowledge it as if it's always been there. And that I now had money that could go not only to college, but a house one day, to my future. That took a big weight off of my shoulders. I was really hesitant about the next 2 wishes, though, now that I knew this was real and not some dream. I asked her, what's in it for you? What are the consequences? We all saw that one episode of Fairly Odd Parents with that Jin, and he gave Timmy Turner consequences, so what was mine? Once again, she didn't answer with an answer. She just asked me another question. What my next wish should be. I've always wanted to be a chef, and I could appreciate the more finer foods in life. Meanwhile, a lot of my classmates were still into peanut butter sandwiches and fried chicken. I had a more picky, as they would say, palate. I really wanted to be a chef one day. And in order to do that, I needed to taste more things from around the world. I know it sounds stupid, but it was lunchtime and I was missing class for this, so I wished for the most expensive, finest dish in the best restaurant in France. Despite how vague my wish was, she granted it. And on the bathroom counter, there was this delicious-looking meal of I don't know what. But I finished it. Genie just stood there and watched me. Even when I offered her some, she just stood there, declined politely, and watched me eat it. And, oh man, was it delicious. I knew I definitely wanted to be a chef now. And if I couldn't be a chef, I'd want to be a food critic. She asked what my next wish was for. I asked her if all I got was 3, if this would be the last wish, and once again, she didn't answer me. She just asked what my next wish would be. She seemed nice enough. She had a nice face. She was smiling politely. She looked like the kind of girl I'd want to be friends with. So, I didn't think anything of it. I must have been quiet for a long time because she snapped me out of it and asked again what I wanted for my next wish. And for my next wish, I know it sounds lame, but I was a teenage girl and I was being bullied. I wasn't very well liked. It was hard to make friends. And the closest friend I ever had, Tommy, wasn't quite close with me ever since we got into high school. So, I wished for him to be my boyfriend and eventually my husband. She said it was granted. I didn't believe her. I thought that all of this might have been a prank. Some trick of the light, some dream come true, something I couldn't fathom or explain. But she told me that at this very moment, even though class was going on, even though Tommy had a test, that he was walking around looking for me with some good news to tell me. I wanted to believe it so much, but I felt embarrassed. But she insisted it was true. And then she said it. The consequences will come later when all of your ambitions are fully realized. I didn't know what she meant. I asked her, what do you mean? But she wouldn't answer. She just said that something was coming in the future when everything had happened. It's been years since that day in the bathroom. She walked right out the door and I never saw her again. I asked everybody at that school, the principal, teachers, everyone, if they had heard of a genie, but no one knew of this girl. She really was something magical that just came and went in the blink of an eye. I've graduated college and bought a house since then. I became a chef. And Tommy and I are getting married tomorrow. Of course, I'm really happy about it, but I'm scared. Everything's coming to this big crescendo, and I have no idea what's gonna happen. I was hoping someone could understand. Maybe something like this has happened to anybody else, and that they could tell me what's going on. But I don't know. I'm excited to see Tommy tomorrow, but I'm also dreading it. And all I know now is happily ever after is nothing like the Disney movies. I knew I shouldn't have come here. I grew up on a farm, and I always saw these incredible movies and bootlegs of Broadway shows, and most importantly, concerts. I wanted to be a performer. My parents didn't really have any experience or say in anything like that, so I saved up a bunch of money and I bought my first electric guitar. Currently my only electric guitar, but that thing has stayed with me till this very day. I won talent shows, I won showcases, and people really believed that I could do it, that I could just go and throw caution to the wind and move to one of those big entertainment states and really make it. And that's exactly what I did. Except for the make it part. I moved to New York and learned the hard way that you don't just get discovered the first time you set foot in an entertainment state. All the money I saved up quickly slipped out of my hands, and I no longer had enough for rent in my big-scale apartment that I was, trying to maintain, so I'm basically homeless now. But, I have my electric guitar. I wish I could have, kept everything else. But it's okay. It's okay. That's the name of my next song. Something that I try to comfort myself with while I'm just sitting out here in Times Square. Homeless. Not a passerby with fans or even a family. Just a loner in Times Square with my electric guitar. Maybe I should have invested in some singing lessons. So I don't want people to look at me and think I'm homeless, so I kind of alternate between a few different outfits that I carry in my backpack. I don't have a grocery cart, and I don't smell. I take showers. I just find the will in the way, I go to parties and just use their showers and then leave. After taking some food, of course. But the whole point of this is that if you saw me in Times Square by myself with my electric guitar, you would not guess that I am homeless. And when you're homeless and you're out on the street every night, feigning, waiting for the bus, you see a lot of interesting things. I see a lot of other homeless people, of course. They all don't think I'm homeless. They think I'm some kind of street performer, a street musician. And sometimes I do make a quick buck off of that, and I go and I grab some coffee, not alcohol or drugs or anything. But I'm not the only person who sees the other homeless people. Every now and then, there's this big black van with a yellow license plate. And every now and then, I see that big black van stop right by a sleeping homeless person. and these men in yellow suits come out, and they just take the homeless person and load them up in the van, and then they drive off. And I don't know where they go. And no one I talk to knows where they go. Not even homeless people. Not even homeless people who knew the abducted homeless people. There's no news about it. There's no station that knows about it. No paper that reports on it. And no one has ever heard of this. But someone has to know about this because the street cameras, right? You know, whoever watches, I don't know all the answers, but whoever watches those street cameras, they gotta see where these people are taking them and what they must be doing to them. I mean, that's crazy, right? I mean, a few times I've honestly thought to myself, what if I wrote a song about this? You know, how cool would that be? So I started writing it. I'm a couple of stanzas in, but I can't really find a way to end it. I don't want it to be like an ominous or scary song. I was kind of hoping for like a really happy, upbeat pop song. But I don't know. I feel like I'll be found out somehow and that people will come and get me. Like it's some kind of big conspiracy. I don't know. There's times when I really wish I could just hop on the bus and go right back home. But I'm stubborn. Of course I had to be stubborn. I want to make it here. I mean, really make it. I want to live in a penthouse. I want to wear nice clothes every day. And if I'm dreaming big, I'd really like to meet a successful, handsome fellow musician and raise our cute little successful music family in New York together and be able to make enough money to have farm family fly in. I know it's a long shot, just let me have this. I'm at Times Square almost every night. I switch at my position sometimes just on different bus stops. Just to keep up the charade that I'm just another kid with a big dream, actually doing the dream, living in the city with a home to go back to and a meal to eat once I get there. But I swear, I see them everywhere. Pretty often, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 times a week sometimes. It's always the same. They know exactly when all these homeless people are sleeping, and they wait, and they show up, like, shortly after they've fallen asleep, and they just pick them up, and the homeless people don't wake up ever, and they just take them in, and they leave. Is it like some kind of black market organ thing? They're just gonna take homeless people's organs? No, maybe not, because, I don't know, like, we don't know where these people have been to, you know? What if they have lung cancer? Or what if they already sold a kidney or something? You know, that's too weird, right? You know? But what if it's like human trafficking? Well, like, I guess that couldn't work either because, like I said, we don't really know where these people have been, so I guess they have to somehow know in order to, I don't know, advertise that. I don't know. The point is that all my theories sound bogus and no one I talk to believes me. I bet if I wrote a song, I bet if I even finished the song that I started writing about this whole incident, that it wouldn't even go anywhere. Because let's face it, I'm a loser and no one cares about a kid with big dreams in New York. I should have tried LA instead. Now, I gotta scrounge up enough money soon because, let's face it, I've really been missing home. I've been really discouraged and I've been homeless for 3 months now? I don't know. So I've been performing nonstop because my stubborn butt refuses to get a job in a big city where I could just have entertained to make money. Look, I know how stupid I sound, just hear me out, please. I have to get enough money soon so that I can go back home. Because sooner or later, if people are really watching, like how I theorized, enough to know when these people are falling asleep, then sooner or later they'll know that I'm just wearing the same few outfits over and over again, and they'll know that I'm homeless too. And I really, really don't want to learn what happens to the people they are taking. I'm a creepypasta narrator on YouTube. Yeah, that kind of thing is really popular nowadays. Except I have this really weird thing that I just started noticing. And no, this is not a story. This is not a staged thing. This is me, a narrator, addressing her audience. Whenever I tell a story, it happens. I've noticed this for a couple weeks now. There's no easy way to explain this, but it's like, okay, I know what you're thinking, that you might be thinking that the story comes true, like it just exists all of a sudden with the characters and the scenarios and everything. Well, no, not entirely. It's just somewhere in the world it happens. It doesn't necessarily have to be to me or anyone I know, but in one case, the way I started realizing this is because it happened to one of my closest friends. A while back, I was narrating the story. Pretty typical. I like the stories about yanderes or stalkers or kidnappers. They're fun to do, I admit, and I think that it's great because it puts out a lot of awareness to a lot of things. It helps you be more careful around other people. But anyways, I was narrating a story about this girl who had been kidnapped and hidden in a barn on some hidden property that belonged to this richer man who was like a CEO or something. And shortly after I posted it on YouTube, my best friend went missing. To be honest, this wasn't completely out of character for her, as bad as that is to say. She's a really emotional person, and she can get really frustrated at times and just take a hiatus from the world. So I thought, honestly, that when they were asking me, I just thought that she had gone on one of her little mini vacations, or even that she was just having a staycation. Maybe she was at her parents' house. But then her parents started asking me where she went. And that was out of character because she always told her parents first. They should have known. But there they were, calling me, asking me what happened to their daughter. I tried my best to reach out to her. I messaged her on all platforms, begged her even Venmo'd her some money so that she would at least have food. But she never got back to me. She never responded. It's like she had never existed. I'd gone to college with her, and as you can imagine, this was really devastating. We always thought that, albeit we hadn't really been close in like the last couple months, we'd both been adults for a while and had jobs and other obligations, but we wanted to be in each other's weddings, and it's really hard thinking that she's just not here anymore. But back to the predicament at hand. They found her body, and it was in a hidden barn off of some property that no one knew existed. And the man who was found guilty was the CEO of this company I don't even know anymore. But it was just like the story that I had narrated. I thought my brain was just trying to grieve or, figure some way to express itself or something. I didn't really piece together at the time that it was so close to what I had narrated and what people were commenting on and subscribing to me for, and I didn't think about any of that at the time. I went on a couple more days narrating things and uploading things to YouTube, and a few days later, I narrated this stupid story about someone who had choked on, what was it? A toy or something, a Polly Pocket leg or something like that. And it was a really dumb ghost story that ended with a kid just being unsupervised. It was that kind of deal. And I had heard from another friend of mine that a kid that they knew did the same thing. And I was thinking, this is so stupid. This is all some sort of big prank or something. How could, what? I never told anyone the details. No one in my personal IRL experience listens to my YouTube channel, okay? How would they know? They don't, and even if they did, it's not like they would watch every single story just repeating the details in real life. And this kid, she actually died. There's no way that they would make some kind of joke about a death. But the one that really, really started making me nervous was I narrated this story about someone watching people from the woods. And pretty much everyone I've been talking to lately has been getting that feeling that the main character in that story felt. It's on the news even that everyone has this overwhelming feeling that something is watching them from the woods. And I wish I was making this up. I feel like I'm having some sort of fever dream or something. I just don't know how to explain it. I stopped narrating for a little bit. You guys might remember. I missed a few days last week. I don't know what that would prove. No one really came up to me saying the feeling is gone, or that kid is back alive, or your friend is home again. I don't know what I was expecting, really. But everyone is still talking about how they feel watched from the forest. And the way that story ended, it didn't really end satisfactory, I guess. They never ended with them resolving it or confronting the monster, or even the monster or person attacking them. It just ends with this overwhelming feeling of being watched. I keep trying to tell people, maybe if I tell them in a way, indirectly, how the story ends, they'll stop being so afraid. So I told everyone. I told my parents. I told my friends. I told other people, like the grocer, the mailman. I've told so many people that nothing is going to happen. But they still feel it. So I had this crazy idea that if I narrated something and put it on YouTube, then it would come true. So I'm here to attempt to stop all the anxiety and panic that's going around my environment right now. And I will have the story end. Everyone was so afraid of the thing that was watching them from the woods. But what they didn't realize is that that thing was no thing at all, nor was it a person at all. It never existed. It was just a silly fear in the back of their minds. And once they all paid no mind to it, that thing went far, far away and never existed again. The end. I hope that worked. I really, 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 really hope that that worked. I should probably call my parents and see how they're doing. I should probably call my friends and see how they're doing. I should call my friend who passed, her parents, see how they're doing. Though, whatever they're going through is probably much worse than the rest of us. I feel like I'm in some sort of Twilight Zone, like a Black Mirror episode or something. I just can't understand how these things have happened and how detailed and close they are in concept to the things I've been narrating, and I feel like it's my fault somehow. But I fixed it, right? I think I fixed it. But if I have, then why do I still feel like someone is watching me? And how do I get them to stop?
Thank you for watching this video. Big shout out to my patrons, Leaf Ninja, Roy Larimer, Mr. Creepypasta, Nicole Kister, Neon Scoundrel, William Delphin, and So Much Heresy. If you want to become a patron, buy merch, or join my Discord server, be sure to check out the links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.